Now, our next guest says we should all be watching the market if we want to know what President Trump will do next. Chris Cillizza is our newest NewsNation contributor. He also publishes So What on Substack. First of all, welcome. It's great to have you. It's
Thank
first
you,
time on
sir.
this show,
It's great
right?
to be here.
Awesome. So,
yes, thank you.
This is, it's funny. I think it was yesterday. Trump said something. They were in the Oval, and he says, "Oh, I'm not even paying attention to the market, right?" But
yes.
So tell us about what you wrote.
I can guarantee you that's not true.
Yeah.
That he's not paying attention to the market, because there are two things Donald Trump cares very deeply about and has basically through his entire life. One is television, great for us, and two, the stock market. Look, he's been in the business world his whole life, and since he became a political candidate, and especially when he was president the first time, he kind of viewed the stock market as like a very broad but effective gauge of how he was doing. Stock market up, good. Stock market down, bad, and need to change. Yes, it is overly simplistic. No, any economist will tell you the economy does not equal the stock market. But for Trump, I think it's a really important measure. It is not a coincidence that as stocks were having a very bad week, yesterday he announced, actually, Canada and Mexico tariffs, we're going to pause those for a little bit.
Right.
There are no coincidences in politics, and that ain't one of them.
Now, here's what he said today. He said yesterday, as I said, he wasn't watching the market, but here's what he said today, a little bit earlier. Here's the president.
We're here for just a little over 4 weeks, and these are fantastic numbers. I was watching some of the reports this morning. They were surprised. There could be some disturbance, a little bit of disturbance. I solved a little bit of that because I have respect for our auto companies, and I gave them a little bit of a 1-month reprieve because it was unfair, although I'm sure they'll take advantage of it.
So he's talking about exactly what you were saying, delaying the tariffs there, and I think he might have been referring to the job report. Jobs report was pretty good today. I think the concern, though, is about the future. So it'd be interesting to see what the president does here if say we get into a situation where people aren't hiring as much and the tariffs are being cited as the reason, and then more adjustments if history is our guide, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, he said 4 weeks. It'll be 7 weeks on Monday. It's still very early, I will note. And I do think the next jobs report will be the one where we may feel some of the tariffs and where we may feel some of the federal government layoffs and firing. So we'll see. If history is a guide, Donald Trump, and that's always questionable because he likes being unpredictable. But if history is a guide, he will be very flexible. He likes to do things that make him popular. And if tariffs look as though they are hurting either the broader economy, the stock market, he will adjust. I cannot imagine him plowing ahead for months and years with this if he thinks it will not sell. Not if it will not work, if it will not sell to the public. That's, I think, his first overriding concern.
Well, last time he didn't really get hit politically for it as much. Prices did go up, by the way. He was going back and forth with China, but stock prices did too. We have a stock chart, I believe, of the market, probably the S&P 500 since the inauguration, which Trump wouldn't like. Now, up until a few days ago, if you went back to Election Day, he would have liked it a little bit better because, and that's probably a fair way of doing it because people did know he was going to be president. They were buying stock, but since the inauguration, it's been down. But now, even since the election, the market's given up its gains. As of yesterday, give them back.
It is. You know what's so interesting is right after the election, markets soared, as you can see there. And so it might have been a little bit of an artificial high. It was sort of the idea of what Donald Trump would do, like, oh, he's a businessman, he'll be good for business, he'll free up regulation. The lived reality of being president, particularly as it relates to the tariffs, might have been a little less optimistic. So it may be off of a little sugar high and coming down, but I will absolutely tell you, Donald Trump keeps a very close eye on that. And if it keeps going down, you will see him react again.
I know.
He will not simply let that arrow keep going down and down and down.
And maybe the only other thing he's watching, he's added Bitcoin to his list now. We've known after this crypto summit. But thank you, Chris. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.